Hello, everyone. I've been getting a lot of questions about dense energies and how we can protect ourselves from dense or darker energies. The first thing I wanted to say about that, I wanted to say a couple of things. The first one is that we don't really need protection from anything. And I like to say this when I start talking about dense energies, because I like to empower you so that you realize that you are an immensely powerful being. You don't need to be protected from anyone. You are source incarnated. So that's the first comment I wanted to say about protecting yourselves against dense energy. The second comment I wanted to get into regarding this topic is that we are now in an energetic shift. It's a huge energetic shift. So while we're walking around in our daily lives, we will be encountering a lot of dense energy because the energy is shifting so quickly, and that causes a lot of discomfort in so many people. And the energetic shifts, the rifts that are occurring right now, because they are occurring very rapidly, people are responding with a lot of fear, anger, rage. There's a lot of dense emotions out there. So you will be confronted with dense energies one way or another. So that's the second thing I wanted to say about that. Now, how do you protect yourself from density? Density can affect you. So how exactly do you go about responding to density? And the first thing I wanted to say is, if you're someone, I've had people say to me, I'm not sensitive enough to be able to detect when I'm amongst density. I can't detect it right away. I'm not that intuitive, people will sometimes say. So they'll ask me, how do I know I'm in a really dark situation? Or how do I know that I am in a collective consciousness of density, or I'm in dense energy? So I'll help you out with that today. So if you're not very intuitive, if you're not very sensitive to the change in energy, some people can literally walk into a room and realize right away that the energy is pretty dense because it doesn't feel good on their bodies. But if you're not one of those, there are other indicators that you can use that will help you evaluate the energy of a room or a party or your work environment. The first indicator is pay attention to how people physically look. And I'm not talking about makeup or, if they have a suit on or not. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say look at how they physically look at their posture. Look at how they're looking at you. Look at their facial expressions. Someone who is vibrating with density, they'll kind of curve their back. They'll tend to look down at the floor a lot. When you look in their eyes, their gaze is a little blank, as opposed to someone who vibrates with ascended energy. This is someone who exudes vitality, and you know that. You look in their eyes and you're like, whoa, the person has a really intense gaze. They just exude vitality, and physically you can tell that they exude vitality. So looking at their physical appearance is one. The second thing is, let's say you enter into a room and there's a group of people talking. Pay attention to what they are saying, and you'll know what energy they're emanating. And what do I mean by this? When you walk into a room, whether it be your work lunch cafeteria or it's a party or a bar, wherever it is, if you walk into a place where there's a group of people, pay attention to what they're saying. Someone who vibrates with more density, they will tend to have conversations that are judgmental of others. They will tend to complain a lot, whether it's about their lives or the lives of others. So there'll be a lot of complaining, there'll be a lot of judgment, and the conversations will center around a lot of negativity. So these are the type of people that will talk about the violence in the world, the bloodshed, all the murdering. They will find these situations that they see on the news, and they'll talk about it repeatedly. So pay attention to these conversations, because they are a clear sign that the person is vibrating with more dense energy. So conversations, that's the other one. Now, when you see all of this, when you come in contact with these indicators of density, what do you do? What do you do to protect yourself? But I'm going to stop saying the word protect. What do you do to respond to density? Because you are here at this precise moment to help anchor the new energy of the new earth. So if you're here to help anchor, then when you go into a situation of density, you can bring so much light into that situation. How do you do that? The first thing is, don't allow yourself to get pulled into the behaviors of the collective consciousness that's occurring around you. So let's say you go to a party, and let's say you hear that repetitive negative conversation. Someone's in a circle and they're judging Joe. Let's say they're judging Joe. They're saying Joe is this and Joe is that and Joe is the other, and you get close to them and they turn to you and they say, hey, what do you think of Joe? The temptation of your ego, because sometimes this is kind of the herd mentality, the temptation will be, yeah, that guy is no good. So the temptation will be to agree with the collective consciousness. Don't do that. So refrain from getting involved in the behaviors of the people that are emanating density. So refrain from judging, refrain from complaining, refrain from focusing on the negative aspects occurring on the planet. So because you know, as a more ascended energy, you know that for every negative thing happening on the planet, there are a million positive things. So you choose to focus on that. You see? So the first thing is to refrain from allowing yourself to be pulled into the collective consciousness that's going on around you that's more dense. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, when you walk into a room that has a lot of density, I like to do this visualization exercise. And as you're getting more advanced in your visualizations, you can actually do this with your physical eyes open. In the beginning, I had to close my eyes because I wasn't very good at using my third eye for visualization. But now when I walk into a room and I feel the density immediately, I do this little visualization exercise, and no one around me even notices I'm doing this. You can do this without anybody noticing anything. So you walk in and you visualize a tube of light coming from heaven down into your crown chakra, and that light is intensely bright. It's a beautiful bright light. And that tube of light, think of, the Star Trek teleporter. So imagine the Star Trek teleporter, and let's say that beam of light is coming down to your crown chakra, and then you're going to visualize that light descending all the way down your body. It's bathing your body. I'm visualizing that right now as I'm talking to you, so you see, you wouldn't notice. So you just visualize that light going all the way down, entering your body. It just goes everywhere. And then from then on in, as you're walking through that party, let's say you're at a party that has a lot of density. As you're walking through the party, you can go about having conversations with people, but you're visualizing yourself as being a being of light, intense light. And that light is glowing outwards towards everyone else, because in the end, that light is love. So that's the second thing. Visualize yourself as a light being, literally, as you're walking around this party. The third tip that I like to give to people regarding this anchoring of energy is to always walk in this beautiful light, but walk without arrogance, with humility. Because in the end, you can walk into a room where people are vibrating in a lot of density, but it doesn't matter. They're still your brothers and sisters, and you are no better than them, and you're no worse than them. So when we're walking around as light beings trying to anchor this beautiful energy, this new earth energy, as we're trying to anchor it, we're helping our brothers and sisters around us, even the ones that are vibrating in the most density. Because in the end, the best way that we can help in anchoring this beautiful energy and in helping the planet ascend is by loving everyone, no matter where they are on their evolutionary path. There you go. I hope it helps. You don't need protection from anything, but this is the way to respond when you encounter density, and you're going to be encountering a lot of density in these days. It's temporary. But this is what we're here to do. We're here to emanate our beautiful light in this transition of the planet. So you will be encountering a lot of density, and that's okay. You can encounter it with love always. Have a wonderful week, everyone.